The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Face in your face. Face in your face.
Hey guys, it's Mizzy and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Welcome to the live show. I'm a little frazzled this morning. My dog woke me up like 25 minutes ago, and I'm glad she did because I either slept through my alarm or I forgot to set it last night. But I'm here and you're here, so that's all that matters. Let me just try to fix my lighting. Like I said, I'm a little frazzled right now. So how's everyone doing today? I'm okay. Just a little tired because I just woke up, but I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad I'm here. It's all that matters. For those that don't know, today is the post-commission hearing for Robert Devine. Hopefully we'll get some information on when a date will be set for him to go in front of the full commission. But as of right now, that's all we know. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning. I will maybe someday bring my dog, but she is a barker and I don't know if she will like lose her shit on camera. So I'm afraid to have her go be on live, but I will someday. I'll bring her upstairs someday. But I want to thank everybody for coming and good morning. Before the commission starts, let me just check on it. I want to make sure nothing's going on. Okay. I want to talk about Matthew Farwell's hearing last week. So just give me 1 second. Just want to get this on screen too. So Matthew Farwell had a hearing on the 10th. Unfortunately, he wouldn't be in court because it was just a status hearing. But, you know, it was good to just see movement on the case. There's the post-commission. That'll be up in a couple minutes. So, you know, we were just excited to see movement on his case. You know, he was arrested on August 28th, and this is the first time that he was technically in court. And so we were, like I said, just happy to see some movement on this case. Let's get it going. You know, it's been too long. You know, the first was Sandra's 4-year anniversary of her murder, and you know, the fact that this case is just starting to move is like insanity. But I'm thankful. I mean, the FBI got him off the streets and the public is safer now that he's off the streets. So the biggest thing we learned in the hearing is that at the next hearing on April 15th, that they are probably going to be setting a date. The judge asked both parties to come with a realistic date for when they could start to set a trial date. The judge said she wasn't. There's an act called the Speedy Trial Act that she said she wasn't going to enact till the date was set. So once the date is set, they have 70 days to bring the trial. So we're hoping, I'm hoping, good morning, everyone. Good morning. For those who just coming in right now, I'm hoping that he will be tried by the end of this year, if not this year, the very beginning of next year. I'm hoping it's this year. I'm hoping it's like in the fall. So give me one. Where is he while he waits? He's in jail in Rhode Island. So that's probably why, they probably thought it wasn't a big deal to bring him up for a status hearing all the way from Rhode Island. But I'm hoping, it would be great if on the 15th he was there, but it's just another status hearing. But once they start getting the, getting more of the hearings, filings and all that stuff going on, hopefully he'll have to start coming to court, but it was good to sit there and know that we were in court for Matthew Farwell finally. So, like I said, we were all a little disappointed that he wasn't there, but the fact that we were in court, for him just felt really good. And thankfully our group, the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group, got a lot of press that day. And I'm so proud of Barb, Sandra's cousin, because she just stepped up to the mic and, took control of the media like a boss. And it was great to see her. She hasn't stepped forward much because of the civil lawsuit and because of the family asking the rest of the family not to speak out too much. And it was just nice to see her able to step to the mic and, tell the world of her feelings. And I'm so proud that, of her while she was doing it. So I don't know if she's in the chat. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, she was great. Like I said, she stepped up like a boss. No, you guys are amazing for being here. I appreciate that, though. I appreciate everybody who's here and everybody who's standing up to keep Sandra's name out there. It's very important that we make sure that Sandra's case still stays in the spotlight. I was thankful that there was as much press there as there was, but I was shocked that there wasn't more people there. But like I said, it's just a status hearing. So maybe once they start getting into the meat and potatoes of the case, people will start coming more. But we appreciate everybody who showed up, and thank you to everybody. Good morning, everyone. A heart to you too. Hi, Brandy. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah. Where are the state charges? I ask that every day, but I don't think there are ever going to be state charges. Morrissey is never going to charge him. I think the only way that there'll be state charges, there could be some charges coming from the AG's office, but they're only looking into the white collar portion of this case, which is the time theft of all the things, the activity that was going on duty. So that's all they're looking into. So that's all that's going to happen. Let me see what's. Nikki, the state cops are going to be the best witnesses for Farwell. No way they bring charges. Yeah, it's going to be a weird trial too, because Fanning is going to have to take the stand, because him and Trooper Dunn were the leads on Sandra's case, and they're going to have to answer questions by the prosecution. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird situation that's going on. I just want to bring this up so once it starts, I can change screens. Yeah, it's going to be a weird trial because the Massachusetts State Police investigated this as much as they claim. And so they got some of the information that'll be used in the trial, but they weren't the ones to, charge him. So it's going to be a weird, once her trial gets going, it's going to be a weird, and his defense is going to be able to use that, to say, hey, the state of Massachusetts didn't, charge him. Why did these guys? So that's going to be like a weird, and with the medical examiner, she's going to have to testify. I don't know if the DOJ will bring her to testify, but she'll have to testify to the fact that she'll have to testify to the fact that she called it a suicide. So I don't know how this trial is going to work out. They will definitely bring their medical examiner. Oh, it's starting. Let me.
Recording in progress.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Ms. Martinez.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Mr. Devine.
Morning, Ron.
All right, so it looks like everyone is here, so I think we're good to get started. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. The time is 9:29 a.m., and this is a pre-hearing conference in the matter of Robert Devine before the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. We are convening remotely over Zoom, and this pre-hearing conference is open to the public. This pre-hearing is being recorded. The Honorable Kent J. Fishman will be the presiding officer over today's pre-hearing conference. My name is Lizzie Smith, and I'm the hearings administrator for the Post Commission. And this matter is now before Judge Fishman.
Well, again, good morning, everybody. So I guess the biggest question at the moment, since we last talked, is to find out where things stand discovery-wise. Mr. Stowe, do you want to fill us in?
Yes, Your Honor. The piece of the puzzle we were waiting for was a response from the Attorney General's office to the underlying case. I got an email on Friday. I conveyed to Attorney Martinez, I believe yesterday, that today I am picking up the flash drive from the Attorney General's office that has been copied by one of the co-counsel in the civil case. So I will have that drive today. Of course, I need some time to review it with Mr. Devine. I suspect, given the fact that we're getting a drive, we've received a drive from the town of Stoughton, we received a drive from Attorney Martinez in this case, I suspect it's probably a lot of duplicate information, but I nonetheless have to look at it. I suggest to the court that we get a 30-day date with the intent that when we come back in 30 days, we'll get a trial date or hearing date. I suspect a date in between the next date and the hearing date to discuss the evidence and how to best present it now that there are protective orders at the different forums.
So there's no other source that you're expecting discovery from?
Correct.
Okay. And will that drive that you're getting be shared with Mr. Martinez?
It will not. It's under an order of protection from Middlesex Superior Court. I'm sorry, Norfolk Superior Court.
Norfolk, yeah.
That's controlled by. There are 3 different orders But I suspect it's all the same information. I could be wrong. I don't know what the Attorney General's office did, the state police did for further investigation, but I suspect it's all similar. Without revealing what it is
Well, you can't reveal if you haven't seen it yet. So,
what I suspect. That's what I suspect.
right. How do you feel about all that, Mr. Martinez?
I think that that's logical. The only thing I would add is I do think that that interim date, if we do, you know, a shorter date than have there be a final pre-hearing conference, that we should aim for the motions in limine to be completed for that second conference as well. Just so we have a little time should, you know, somebody have evidence excluded or whatever to make adjustments before the hearing. I know we've had a few hearings in the past where those motions in limine were decided at the time of the hearing. It would be nice in this one, especially because it sounds from the pre-hearing conference memo that the motions in limine will be relevant to a large chunk of the evidence that I hope to present. It would be nice to know heading into the hearing.
So you're saying, just so I have this right, you have no problem with setting a sort of reporting date in 30 days in order to set up the future hearing dates, right? That's
Right.
okay. And then you
Yes.
want to have it before a final hearing date, you want an interim hearing date for a hearing on motions in limine.
Yes, I think that would make sense.
And obviously a filing date for those as well, somewhere in between all of that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that would be that day would be after the final. So if we have a 30-day date, then we pick a date for the motions, and then we have the hearing date.
Yeah, I mean, I think on that 30-day date, unless something else comes up that's not anticipated by any of us, we'll schedule everything forward. You know, so a date for filing, a date for hearing, a date for hearing on the motions, and then a actual final hearing date. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we'll work together by the next 30-day date to see ensure that we at least have a baseline as far as, you know, what the challenges will be, to see if we can get some stipulations as to evidence or stipulated facts, things like that. With Mr. Stowe and I can aim to do that before the 30-day date.
Okay, that's appropriate for sure. All right. And do you have any concerns that there may be materials in the AG's production that the division is going to want to see?
As of this time, I don't have those concerns, Your Honor. To my knowledge, for what's relevant to our allegations, we have the materials.
Okay.
Yeah, there may certainly be materials out there that we do not have, but to my knowledge, for what's relevant to what we alleged in the order to show cause, I believe that we have the materials we need.
Yeah, I realize that
Yeah.
this discovery from other proceedings is a lot broader than what the issues we're dealing with regard to Mr. Devine. So there's certainly that's not unreasonable. There'd be material that at least the division doesn't feel is relevant to these proceedings. All right. So is there anything else you want to add?
No, Judge. I suspect, however, that the AG's information focuses on one of the other officers, given that he was indicted.
Right.
I don't think it would be. My thoughts are that it might not be relevant to Mr. Devine at all. But of course, as we discuss, I need to explore it. So,
is the civil case stayed pending the criminal action?
it has not. The discovery deadline has been kicked out to, I believe it's October. Off the top of my head. So we're actively involved in discovery, and I think what we're waiting for is this final release of information so we can start going forward. No depositions have been scheduled. I'm sure they will be. The town supplemented some discovery for production of documents recently. And there's another question of whether or not the town has to release reports that it has, which I suspect are part and parcel of what I'm supposed to get today. That's it.
That's just so, because some of these things tend to impact our proceeding. Does the criminal case have a trial date?
I don't know. I haven't looked up the criminal case at all. I can't answer that question.
All right. Well, okay, so why don't we go ahead and pick a date for our next pre-hearing conference.
Tuesday, the March 18th looks fine. 18, 19.
Those dates would work for me as well.
Yeah, actually, the 18th works for me as well. So, is there any problem with that date, Lizzie?
No, we can do Tuesday, March 18th at 9:30 a.m.
Okay. And I don't anticipate that's going to be a very long pre-hearing conference either, but we'll need to have in mind thinking about the more substantive proceedings that are scheduling those when we get to the 18th.
All right.
We'll do it 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, March 18th. All right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, my computer wasn't letting me change screens. Yeah, basically a meeting to set another meeting. That's been a big frustration for all of us who are, looking at Sandra's case and obviously the family, because the family wants this guy not to have his license anymore. Because if he continues if he is able to hold on to his license, that means he's able to do detail work. If he wants to pick up a detail shift, retired officers sometimes pick up details, and he'll be able to make money as, a police officer. So we want his license pulled. Thankfully, it kind of seems like they are starting to make some way with this. So on March 18th will be his next hearing, and it seems like they're going to start setting the dates for the to have his full post commission hearing. So I'm hoping it'll be, by June. Maybe it'll be a happy birthday gift. It's just ridiculous how long this has been going on, and the family, it's not fair to the family that this man still has his license, and I say man, very lightly. Hey Beatrice, thanks for coming, it's good to see you. Whoops. Yeah, I agree, this is insane, absolutely insane. It won't let me take the thing. So I guess we'll be doing this again on March 18th. And thankfully the other two guys' licenses have been, they self decertified. They set up an agreement, and they agreed to stop trying to continue keeping their license, but I knew Devine wasn't going to stop. Until they take away his license, he won't stop. Oops. Of course, Barb. Thank you for being here. And as I was saying this when I first, I don't know if not everybody was here. I am lucky that I am streaming. I was sleeping at 8:38 this morning. My dog started barking. It was one of those situations when you wake up, you're late. And I jumped up and ran around like a crazy person trying to get ready. And I am lucky that I am functional and upright right now. So, so I appreciate everybody being here. There's a couple other things I wanted to address before, we signed off today. because I know a lot of people on here want to go watch the Karen Reed hearing, you know, at 11. But so as I was saying about Matthew Farwell, we should have a date at the next hearing. I believe that is April 15th. Barb, correct me if I am wrong. I believe it's April 15th at 10 o'clock at the Moakley Courthouse in Boston. We would love to have anybody who's available to come. You know, we do a small standout before, and you can come watch the hearing. There were plenty of seats last time, so please come join us if you're able to. I know, unfortunately, if everything goes, Karen will be on trial then, but you know, we welcome you to come join us. So there's a couple things I wanted to address that happened over the weekend, and I just need to do one thing real quick because I want to share something with you guys. If I can get my computer to work fast, but I don't know if I can. Give me 1 second. Talks amongst yourselves. Here's my email. It's going to take too long. So some of you might know of ex-FBI agent Jennifer Coffindoffer. You know, those who are in the Free Karen Reed movement know that name very, very well. You know, I want to say this, you know, we at the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group, we appreciate anybody who shares Sandra's story to get her story out to a broader audience, even if it is Jennifer Coffindoffer. But so let me explain a little more. So over the weekend, she made a post about Sandra. But in that post, she used that post to also go after the Free Karen Reed movement. She called them the pink people and the green people, which I don't even know why she brought in the green, because the green is for Enrique Delgado Garcia. So I don't even know why he was brought into it. But so she said the pink people. Now I replied, because she did this before, that she used Sandra to go after the pink people, you know, the Free Karen Reed movement. And I wanted to make it very clear, and I wanted to say it, you know, say it here. You know, the pink people have been by our side. They stand shoulder to shoulder with, you know, the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group. You know, most of the people on our team are the pink people. You know, I'm a pink person. So, like I said, we appreciate anybody sharing Sandra's story. To get her story out to a broader audience helps. And I appreciate Jennifer sharing her story, even though I don't agree with her on, you know, the Karen Reed case. But what I don't like is when you use Sandra, a young woman who was groomed, assaulted, abused, and then murdered, as a way to go after other people. Now, Phelps did this in his podcast. He used Sandra to go after Turtle Boy. And I have not addressed this. I have a story about this that I'll share at another time. But the two of them used Sandra's case as a means to go after, you know, the Free Karen Reed movement. And then Phelps went after Turtle Boy. You know, don't use a young woman who has been murdered. You know, you guys are saying you're advocates, and that's great. Be good advocates, and don't use her to go after other people. Like I said, the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group really appreciates the fact that, you know, you were sharing her case. I'm glad that you were, like I said, to get her case out to a broader audience is all what we're trying to do. We want more eyes on her case. What happened to Sandra is an injustice that will never fully be rectified. But more eyes on her case helps get more of the public involved and helps push them, the powers that be, to arrest the other guys and go, add state charges to Matthew Farwell. But like I said, being an advocate, you should never go after people. You should never use a young woman who was murdered to go after other people, even if you don't agree with them. Go after them on your own time. Don't go after them through Sandra, because that is disgusting and it needs to stop. Please don't use Sandra as a means to go after other people. It's not right. And if you're going to be a true advocate, you would never do that. You would never use Sandra's name and her story and what happened to her, what was done to her by these men to go to, throw some barbs at the pink people. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. And like I said, there's a story behind Phelps that I will share at one point. I just haven't shared it yet. Like I said, me and Jennifer went back and forth a little bit. And I was being tagged a lot in it. I know a lot of people were really mad. And like I said, you know what? I am happy, Jennifer, you were sharing Sandra's story. I am. Let's push this case out to a broader audience. And, you said you would even work with me. I don't see us seeing us agree on this because of what you've said, but you are, push your story out there. Thank you for that. But please stop going after the Free Karen Reed movement through Sandra. Brandy Churchwell. If you guys don't follow Brandy, which I'm sure you guys all do, please go follow her show because she's amazing. And, her podcast is, amazing. She's such a smart and lovely young woman. And I had the pleasure of going on her show, a few months ago. So I really enjoyed our conversation that we had. Let me scroll up because I can't read it off here. I need to get like a magnifying glass. Maybe I'll get that so I can see. Sorry. Sandra was used enough during her short life. She doesn't need to be used after her death. To shame on them. I agree. I fully agree with that, Brandy, and that's why I was pretty upset about what was going on. To use her to go after other people, you're not being a true advocate when you say that it's just hey Claire, thanks for being in my chat. I'm normally in your chat. What's up? So it's just I was pretty mad, and I just wanted to make sure that I put it out there that you don't go after people when you're trying to advocate for a young woman who's been murdered. It was wrong. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and I just wanted to make sure that I talked about it on my show. So let me switch gear. And like I said, I will put the Phelps story out there at some point. I just got to figure out how I want to tell it. I got to talk to somebody before I tell the story too. But so I haven't been on for a while. As a lot of you know that I've said in my other shows that I have a lot of health issues. That's why I'm not out there more. That's why we only do like one standout a month. And so I've been sick I've been sick since December 30th, beyond my regular health issues. I've had this cough for like over 2 months now. And we think we figured it out. We think it was I just got put on blood pressure medication a few months ago, like I think early December or late November. And we think it was my blood pressure medication that was causing that cough. So I should be better to go more often. There's a lot of shows that I've planned. You know, I'm supposed to interview Barb. I've talked to Peter Murphy. He's going to come on the show. You know, there's a lot of things I've planned to show you more of Sandra's case. That's why I started this, because, you know, I loved going on other people's shows, but I have questions I have about Sandra's case. I want to know how, like when I have Peter on, he held Blank's position, you know. Sorry about that. StreamYard just bumped me out. All messed up. Okay. I'm gonna have to deal with my picture being like this. I apologize, guys. I don't want to, you know, sit and adjust it doesn't matter how I look. It's more about talking about Sandra's case, and I apologize for that. I don't know what happened. So as I was saying, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I have a lot of things planned coming up. You know, I'm going to continue reading the Stoughton report, but, you know, I want to have people on here to answer questions. Like I was talking about Peter, you know, he was a sergeant at Canton PD, and I want to see how him as a sergeant, how he would have handled, you know, the call that Lank got that, you know, Sandra was unfortunately found deceased. You know, I want to have there's an attorney that I got to talk to who's local, that I want to see if he can answer some questions about, you know, Massachusetts law and you know, there's a few other people I want to, you know, talk to. I got to reach out to them, but my first interview will absolutely be with Barb, and hopefully we can, you know, get that going soon, because, you know, Barb has a lot to say. And when I have Barb on, there are questions you guys might have that she won't be able to answer because she is family. So we have to kind of be careful with, and I might have to answer some of those questions, but even for you guys to see what Barb went through, how she found out, and, you know, how us working together on the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group. Well, maybe we could schedule that for later this week, Barb. If not early next week. Yeah, I'm ready too. Now that I'm feeling a little better. So yeah, you know, Barb's going to be my first interview on here, and I have a lot of stuff planned, you know, to educate more on Sandra's case. You know, I want to finish going through the reports. I'm going to attempt to go through the FBI report. That episode might get my show, that episode yanked off, but that's okay. So there's a lot I have planned, and I'm so thankful you guys are all here and interested in the Sandra story. And I want to give a shout out also to the replay crew, because You guys always come watch my stuff after, and I really, really appreciate you guys because, you know, you help, you know, boost things. If you don't follow me already, please go subscribe. You know, it helps push my stuff out there, and please like, you know, getting Sandra's case out there more, and more eyes on Sandra's case is what we need. And yes, Matthew Farwell has been arrested, but there are 2 other officers that still need to be arrested. And there are also, you know, other charges that need to be put on Matthew and the other 2 guys, you know, because he was only charged for her murder. There's nothing about the abuse. Yes, of course, the abuse will come up in you know, the trial, but he's not charged for that. So we need those charges also. So, you know, us at the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group, you know, we appreciate all of you for supporting us and supporting Sandra. That's the most important part. We just want to make sure Sandra's case is being pushed out there, that her story is still being told. And, you know, we as a group have a lot of things coming up. Right now, the next event we will be doing is we'll be doing another Stronger Together event somewhere in Boston. That's all I'm going to say. And if you're local, we would appreciate if you attend because we want this to be a big, you know, event, as big as we can get it. So let me go to the chat and see if I can answer some questions. And if I can't answer it or if I miss it, Barb will probably answer it for you. So let me see. Things just got better. I love that name. Is Farrell being charged for murder of a baby? At this point, no. So last night on X, there was a back and forth with a few people because some people say that he can't be charged, you know, for the baby. And there's actually, somebody was posting, if it's true that there is a statute in federal law that he can be charged. I don't know the law, and that's why I want to have a lawyer on. I would like to know that. Can he be federally charged, or is it because the way he is charged for Sandra's murder, he's charged with murdering a witness. So it wasn't that he was charged like a straight up, you know, like a state charge, just a flat out murder charge. He, you know, first degree, second degree, or something like that. He was charged with murdering a witness, which is very serious. The feds take that very serious, and that's why it's a capital crime. So that's why he could be facing the death penalty. So yeah, as of right now, he's not charged with that. Obviously, that's something that we would like. Let me see what Barb's saying. Barb, the FBI affidavit is helpful for learning more about the charges. We have it posted on the Facebook Justice for Sandra Birchmore page in the file section, in the file area at the top. Yeah, I was actually looking at that last night, like reading the last 10 pages of it again. And I do have to warn you, if you do go read, I hope that everybody reads this, because people need to see what was done to Sandra and how disgusting Matthew Farwell is. It isn't an easy read. I do have to warn you, but it's something that we can't look away from. We cannot look away from what happened to Sandra, because if we look away, we're allowing it to go back in the shadows. We need to know what he did so we can hopefully prevent it from happening to another child. And that's one of our goals as a group, is to try to educate the public on grooming and what goes on in the shadows of somebody like Matthew Farwell. So we want people to see what was done. Like they say, sunlight is the best disinfectant. You might want to burn your eyes out after reading it, because some of the stuff is horrific, but it needs to be seen. People need to know what happened. And especially since, federal cases are not There's no cameras in the court, so we, it's not something that we could stream, which I'm sad about, because there's probably gonna be days that I physically can't go. I can't sit in a courtroom on those benches, for I don't know how long this trial is going to be every day, but I did find out that some cases you can download an audio. So if I can download the audio for Sandra's case, I will stream it at another time, so people can hear it. But as of right now, that's all we have for right now, unfortunately. But people need to know what was done to Sandra, so we can prevent it from happening to another child. That is our goal at Justice for Sandra Birchmore, the Justice for Sandra Birchmore group. Unfortunately, this has become Sandra's legacy, to educate people so this doesn't happen to their family members, and for them to know what to look for. People think the boogeyman is, stranger danger, that it's some creepy guy in a van, because that's what we want it to be. It's too scary to think that it could be your neighbor, your uncle, and most of the time it's people who mentor your children. It's, coaches and teachers and, a church deacon, or, somebody close to you. And in this case, it was a police officer. It was multiple police officers. So, we want to make sure that, because we have this opportunity with Sandra's case, we have an opportunity to educate people more. So we have a lot planned in our group for that, and to hopefully get the story out to the masses. Mary Romaine, Missy, can you get assisted if you are disabled or no to court to gain access? They have, I believe you can fully gain access to the courts, if you're disabled. Are you in a wheelchair? I believe they have to give you access. I know there's elevators there, and I don't know how. I think we had to go up a flight of stairs to get to the elevators, but I'm sure there's a way, they have another way to get people who are in wheelchairs to get up there. Barb. Robert Devine was the puppet master. He ran the Explorers Club, and he mentored the Farwell brothers. He has he has a sordid past, so be sure to look into it. Just Google his name and you'll see. Yeah, if you Google Robert Devine, a lot of stuff will pop up. He had another case that he should be in jail for, with a young woman that he was having an affair with, and he destroyed this young woman's life and made it look like that she was stalking him when it was him doing it to himself. It's a crazy story. And, this man needs to lose his license. This man shouldn't even have a law license. That's the insanity on top of this. He isn't just trying to hold on to his license to operate as a police officer. Like I said before, I think it's because he wants to be able to pick up detail work on the side. But he is a lawyer in the state of Massachusetts. He should not be allowed to have a law license with everything going on with this. It's on Kathleen McCarthy. It's on the Marshall Project website. The Marshall Project is an awesome. If you guys have never been on that page, it's such an amazing. They do such amazing work. They have so much information, and Barb and I interviewed with them. They did a story on Sandra. They did a broader story, but used Sandra as the kind of like the case subject. And I mean, they do such amazing work, and I recommend that you guys do go check out the Marshall Project website. If I had the link, I would drop it. It's they are such advocates for getting the truth out there about, you know, the subject. Hold on. Shoot, I was going to read something, but I got distracted. Mary, Sandra was not the first for all of these idiots. I'm positive lots of victims. I used to be a state advocate in Washington State. Well, that's interesting, Mary. You know, reach out to me. Even I would love to pick your brain. You know, I'm always looking to, you know, build, you know, inquire more knowledge so I can properly you know, put out more information to the public, you know, on this subject. And we know for a fact there is one victim who came forward. She was also groomed, and she is in the reports. There's a Boston Globe report article that came out a few months ago, and she bravely stepped forward using her face and name. You know, she's a very strong person, even though I know sometimes she doesn't think she is. You know, for her to step forward out of the shadows and tell her truth of what happened to her. And I'm thankful because it shows a pattern. You know, it shows, and she was in the group when the Farwell brothers were teenagers and they were explorers. She was in the first explorers group that Robert Devine did in 2022. So, you know, she's very brave. And I like to say that there is no way that a predator went dormant for 10 years. You know, there's 10 years, about 10, I think it might be 9, but about 10 years in between her and Sandra. So predators don't just go dormant like that. So, yeah. Let me see. There was a question I wanted to scroll back up to. Of course, it's not letting me scroll up. I can't find it anymore. Sorry. Does anybody have any questions? You know, I know Barb is talking to a lot of people in the chat. You know, there's a lot about Sandra's case that that I think a lot of people would be shocked to see, you know, what was done to her. And again, like I said, we have all of the reports up on the Facebook page in the file section. I recommend starting with the Stoughton report and then reading the Canton police report. There's a few of them. And then reading the FBI affidavit. And there's also the FBI charging document. And then go back and read the Massachusetts State Police report and see what you think. I do have to warn you, there's a lot missing in the Massachusetts State Police report. And that is why I always speak out against it, because, you know, there's a lot of things that they didn't do. And we know from seeing cases like Brian Walsh, where they put so much effort into the case, but then in a case like Sandra's, that there are so many people that they didn't interview. There's people that myself and Barb interviewed that never spoke to them. There are people that reached out to me that they never spoke to. And, you know, talking to her family was all well and good, which they really should have spoke to Sandra's family. But talking to her girlfriends is where you get the information. You know, what young teenager, or, you know, even a young woman as at the age of 23, they're not telling their family about the stuff that's going on like that. They're telling their girlfriends. You know, there's stuff that you tell your girlfriends that you would never tell your mom or your, you know, your grandmother or your aunts. And it's like, they should have interviewed all of her friends, and because they didn't, that shows that they weren't investigating her case like they should have been. So, Laura, sexual assault / trafficking in the military is commonplace. Same with cops. Yeah, and there, you know, there is a Army recruiter who is involved in this case. We think we found him, but I'm not going to put out his name because I don't know 100% if it's him. His name is redacted in the Stoughton police report. But there is a military recruiter who is involved in Sandra's case. And he was introduced to Sandra by William Farwell. And that goes towards the trafficking side of her case. You know, she was being introduced to other men. So that's an issue. So that, you know, what you just said applies to both, you know, the Stoughton police officers and also military, because Sandra did go into the Army but she was medically discharged, and she wanted to go back in, but they wouldn't allow her because she has asthma. Let me see. Beth, right, Mizzy? The priests in the Catholic Church are the most wildly publicized example of pedos and serial offenders. Exactly. And, you know, for Catholics, who do you trust more? The most? Your priests, you know. They're vessels for God, and they were abusing children, and probably they still are somewhere. And, you know, the people of Massachusetts know this more than any area, you know, with, you know, the story blowing up from the Boston Globe here. And it, you know, we were kind of, you know, it happened throughout the country, but we were kind of ground zero for the story blowing up. And that's what I was saying, that it's not just the, you know, it's not just the creepy guy in the van down the street. No, it's your neighbor, it's your priest, it's the coaches. Those are the people you have to watch out for. And I'm not saying like you should, like, you know, stalk that person, but, you know, you can't just drop your kids off and say they're safe. You have to, you know, if it's Boy Scouts, pop up unexpectedly at a troop meeting. You know, if your child is in something like the Explorers, show a little more, show that you're going to pop up and you're not going to allow things to happen under your watch. You know, I've spoken to a few other parents whose children were in the Explorers program. And, you know, this one mom I spoke to, she's so like shocked and shook that, you know, Robert Devine was a part of this, because the way he treated her daughter and her son. But she was also a parent who was able to be there all the time, you know, and Sandra's mother loved her, you know, and so did her Nana and, you know, her aunts, but they couldn't be there all the time, you know. So that's where Matthew Farwell was able to wiggle his way into Sandra's life. I mean, who are you going to trust with your children the most? In theory, the police. You wouldn't expect this was happening to your child from a police officer. So, you know, I think people, you know, let their guard down. and say, oh, it's a coach. They're not going to hurt my child. It's a teacher. It's, it's a police officer. Nobody expects a police officer to do everything that Matthew Farwell did. Nobody expects that. We as a society teach children that the police are good. And you know what? For the most part, a lot of police are, but there are also officers who are dirty and corrupt, like Matthew Farwell, who will take advantage of a young woman. And that's one reason why that we push Sandra's story out there so much, so this doesn't happen to another child. If we can reach one parent so that doesn't happen to that parent's child, we have started our work. I won't even say we did our work. We are starting our work because we want to reach as many parents as we can, so people know that you gotta invest more time into. And I know time sometimes is tight, and you're running around, you're dropping 2 kids off at different practices and stuff like that. But to keep your children safe, you gotta sometimes pop up. You gotta ask questions, teach your children, ask your kids questions about their coaches. And you can even explain to your kids without getting too explicit about grooming in a way that a kid would understand. It's not, is a coach overly touchy-feely with your child, putting their hand on the small of their back, things like that. Teach your children. It's not all about stranger danger. It's about sometimes the people who are closest to your child that you are trusting. Laura, no doubt that the recruiters have no business being in schools. Sorry, but don't buy that. They said the same shit after they took, etc. It never changes. Well, and that's the thing is, recruiters and SRO officers, SRO officers, a lot of times those are the officers who are creepy. Robert Devine was a SRO officer first. So yes, we need those officers to, we want the military to be able to recruit kids, but I don't think they should be so embedded in the schools. It should be something more like like how they have job fairs and school fairs, where the colleges come into your, school, maybe more like that instead of being like so involved in schools. I get why they want to be, but to protect the children, it's like I said, those are the people who have access to your children, that recruiters and SOR officers, where they are able to, show power over the kids. There's a power dynamic. And then they're friends with the kids. Robert Devine was friendly, like overly friendly with the kids. After he ran an after school program in the gym as an SRO officer. So, and that's where that victim was groomed, from the after school program and into the Explorers program. So, there needs to be more oversight on both of them, so children don't get hurt. What happened to, that first victim should have never happened on school property, mind you. It's like I said, sometimes, some days dealing with Sandra's subject, it's like, it's hard. And like, Barb is a saint for dealing with it every day, because she's not just, fighting for justice. It's her cousin, it's her family member, somebody she cared about and loved. And, Sandra's story is a tough story to sit in every day. And, but I feel like that myself, and I don't want to speak for Barb, we were meant to link up and we were meant to come together and push Sandra's story out there. I had somebody in Glara's chat say to me last night, Mizzy, Sandra picked you. And I jokingly say, I wasn't listening for a while. I feel like that she was tapping me on my shoulder because I was already doing similar to this. I was already, interviewing families of loved ones who were murdered for my channel. I just wasn't doing lives. I started my channel in 2000 or late 2020. So, I've had this channel for almost 5 years now. And I was working on other stuff. And I feel like, when I would lay down in my bed at night, I would doom scroll and look for things, updates on Sandra's case. I would just sit there and be like, what's going on with this case? The instant I saw it on the TV, I was irate, and I just kept looking into the case, but I didn't fully jump in. And I joke with my friend Sarah. I said, I feel like Sandra went to her and said, Sarah, will you tell Mizzy just to work on the case? And this is I'm being like, like facetious. I just feel like that it all clicked, and Barb was the family member who got back to me. And and she was the right family member to get back to me, because she was it's hard for her as a family member to do this daily, but it helped her to be able to when a family member has a loved one who's been murdered, you can never fully grieve that person till that person gets justice. And once there's some justice, you can start the grieving process, because you're always stuck at the beginning of it when a loved one is murdered. So, this has helped Barb be able to process some of Sandra's case. Yes, it's very hard for her. I mean, it's hard for her to be in chats talking about her case. It's hard, we just had to both take she took one day off this weekend and I took another day, because it's a lot to live in this case every day. And it's even worse for a family member like Barb to do it. But her being able to work on Sandra's case, has helped too. And, Barb has been such a big part of what I've been doing. People don't see it because, like I say, Barb's my silent partner, but she's starting to speak now. And if I couldn't have done this by myself, like I said, Barb was my partner. She's been on the Justice for Sandra Birchmore Facebook page the whole time. I made the page, but Barb has been, she's been an admin since day one. And, she has been a driving force. And I think, it gets lost. And I think sometimes, the family doesn't understand how much Barb has been a part of pushing Sandra's story out there. It wasn't just me, it's been Barb. And I can't wait for Barb to come on so you guys can hear all that from her lips. And, yeah, so is there any other questions that anybody has? I want to get some breakfast before the Karen Reed hearing comes on. I think that was the only stuff that I had to talk about was the Jennifer Coffindaffer things. And then I want to talk about my health. I do want to mention one other thing when it comes to my health. There might be times that I might have a live scheduled, but I get a migraine and I can't do a show. So please forgive me if there's there's an episode I'm supposed to do. And I can't, because I get migraines. Like I'm starting to get a migraine now. I can feel it in my head and my jaw. Because of the lighting. Thank you, Brandy, for coming. It was great to see you. I'll reach out to you so we can talk again. We'd love to talk to you again. Have a great show today. somebody just said something I wanted to. Annie, Missy, thank you, and my prayers to the chat. Yeah, you know, I appreciate everybody coming and taking an interest in Sandra's story. Yeah, I try. I try. I mean, I drink a lot. I mean, I'm drinking Mountain Dew right now because I don't drink coffee. But I try. That's all I drink mostly is water. And you know, I take breaks. You know, Barb can testify that a lot of times I'm like, Barb, I gotta lay down for a little while. And you know, so but yeah, there might be days when I can't do a live, and that's why thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Yeah. Yeah, just reach out to me. Thank you. So if there's no other questions, let me just keep scanning real quick. I understand migraines. Take care of yourself. Yeah. I've suffered, if they run in my family, I am around 30, almost everybody on my dad's set starts getting migraines. His mother had them. My dad had them. My younger brother has them, and they're just horrible. Yeah, they're just debilitating, and you know, it's hard to function. Yeah, I'm on a lot of medication for migraines. I actually get Botox for migraines. I get shots in my neck and my scalp, and just a couple in my forehead. It's not like how Botox, they do Botox for like, you know, cosmetic reasons where they basically freeze your face. They put very few much medication into you for like your face, and most of it's in my neck because I get a couple different kinds of migraines. I get cervical migraines, which stem from I have arthritis in my neck, but I don't want to go too much into it. But yeah, I get Botox for my migraines, and I'm on a bunch of other medications for my migraines. So I am being treated for that. You know, I see my neurologist every 10 weeks. So, but enough about me. Let's talk about Sandra. So is there any other questions? I know a lot of people want to get ready to go watch the Karen Reed hearing, myself included. It should be a wild one, I think personally. Bye, Barb. I will see you later. Have fun at coffee. So if there are no other questions, I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Yeah, migraines are horrible. I hate dealing with them. But if there are no other questions, I am going to sign off. Yeah. Yeah. It is like, if I wasn't getting from Botox for my migraines, I would not be sitting here right now. I would be downstairs. I used to sleep 15 hours a day because of my migraines. And the only reason why I got up was because my dog would make me get up and get something to eat. And then I would go back to sleep. But since I've been on Botox, you know, it's a lot better. But if there's no other questions, yeah, definitely. It was nice hanging out with you guys. And yeah, go head over to Brandy's channel. Say Mizzy Raid. You know, I've never sent people to another channel to do a raid. So, you know, say Mizzy Raid. Yeah, you know, thank you everybody for joining us. And I guess we'll be doing another show on the March 18th to stream Robert Devine's next hearing. Hopefully they will set the dates that we want so he can go through the post-commission process and finally get in front of the post-commission, because that's what we want. We want his license pulled. And I hope that they take his license away. That'll be horrific if they don't. So I want to thank everybody for coming in to watch this stream. It was my pleasure to chat with you guys. And as Barb said, she's ready. So I will set that up for the next. Do you know why cause of death hasn't been updated? Also, why state hasn't charged? Do they disagree with feds? Well, I don't know why the feds can't make the medical examiner change her findings. There has to be a review, and they've had months and months. He was arrested in August. They did a meeting with the medical examiner's office. I believe it was 9 days before Matthew Farwell was arrested. So I don't know why they haven't changed the findings. I'm hoping that they are doing an autopsy review, but an autopsy review doesn't take this long. So I'm hoping that they change the findings. That's one of our next thing, is to put pressure on the medical examiner to reopen her case and do a review. But we don't, because of HIPAA, we don't know, we can't see into it. So, and I don't think there's ever going to be state charges while Michael Morrissey is the DA in Norfolk County. I think that if there's a new DA, that could change, because murder charges don't go away. Some people, there's been a couple lawyers who have said that the state probably won't charge him for murder because the cost of it, which I think is messed up. You can be charged federally and by the state for the same charge. It would be different charges. He'd be in the state, it would be straight up murder charges. In the federal crime, he's been charged with murdering a witness. So I don't understand why there aren't charges. The only charges that I know possibly could be coming is basically time theft. I can't remember what it's actually called, for having these things happen while on duty. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, guys, I am going to head out. Hold on, Lizzie, can you post? Lizzie, can you post fundraising info for Sandra? There is no fundraising. We don't take in any money. There's a civil case going on right now, and so that money, if the family wins, the money will come from the civil case. They're not accepting any money for their lawyer at the time, because the lawyer will be paid, once the civil case is concluded. So we're not there is no fundraising for Sandra. We're not allowed to take in any money. But if you want, you can donate to a few different causes like RAIN, any causes that help, children that have been groomed. If you want to do a donation in Sandra's name, that would be amazing. And you can even come post it on our Facebook page if you do to let us know that you did. And but yeah, we're not raising any. There is no fundraising for Sandra's case. Okay, guys, I am going to head out because I want to go watch the Karen Reed hearing, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. Thank you so much for being here, guys. It means a lot that you guys want to be part of Sandra's case and see what's going on in her case. And we need to make sure we keep eyes on this to make sure, he loses his license to operate as a police officer. And there will be a lot of things coming up. As you see, the 18th of March, we have a lot of other stuff coming up with, Matthew Farwell's next hearing. And, we will be announcing soon about our next Stronger Together event very, very soon. So you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining me. And I am Izzy, and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Thanks, guys.